Hi, little birds. How are you today? It's your girl Jailyn coming at you again for another video. This one I did prepare, but some little children came in my room and took my notes, so I will have to wing it. And with my whole thing of being authentic, yes, I am straight out of the shower, and it's okay because I'm not gonna come at you with greasy hair and looking all nasty. So either way, I'm here. Uh, Now, the thing I'm going to discuss today is gender and sex. And for me growing up, as I mentioned before, I grew up Mormon. So it gender and sex was very limiting. Gender in the Mormon church, you're male or female. There's nothing in between. There's no other options. There's no C option, no all of the above. You are male and female. You're born into that gender, and that is it. Same with the sexuality. You are born into it. Man marries woman, woman marries man. That is all there is in the church. They don't discuss anything else. And when they do, it's usually, oh, you need to come in and confess with the bishop. You need to discuss this because it's not moral, it's not right. And I couldn't stand that as a standard for people, because I met some beautiful people in the LGBT community that I was like, okay, why are we putting them down? Why are we saying that they're gonna go to hell? There's something wrong with this. If my God says he's gonna curse them because of how they feel, of how they, it's just who you are innately. So for me, it was very hard in the church to connect with that, especially when I was on my 2-year mission as a missionary. It was very hard because I saw these beautiful people, and I had to tell them, oh, you can't be practicing being gay. I'm sorry, but you have to be straight. And you can't tell a person that of who they are or what they're gonna be. So for me, it was very limiting, and it was never discussed because the church doesn't discuss that. The only thing that they really discuss, and it's when you're wanting to go into what they called the temple, and they ask you a series of questions to see if you're worthy. One of them was masturbation, and I'm like, what is that? I don't even know what that is. You guys don't discuss it. What is masturbation? So, as it not being discussed, I grew up not knowing what that is. I didn't even Google it or Yahoo it at the time. Um, I I came to understand things like that from college when I went to university, and those beautiful people there that I grew to love and understand. Now, the first exposure I got to sexuality was when I was working in Popeyes. And there was these two girls that were working there, and they were always talking about, living with each other and helping take care of the one's dad. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. And I'm like, are you sisters? And they're like, no, we're not sisters. And I'm like, okay. So, I at the time I couldn't wrap my brain around it because I'd never met anybody like them. And then my mother started working there, and it took her to find out, and she came to me and was like, hey, did you know they were lesbian? I'm like, no. And all the pieces just connected together, and was like, oh, okay. And I had no problems with them. They were both wonderful girls. They had great personalities, and they didn't judge me. They like the, I was young and just did my job like I'm supposed to. Wow, what a concept. Doing your job. Anyway, so that was my first exposure to sexuality that was different than our heteronormative that we have. And then also in our, along the lines of gender, we have a very gender binary, just like our political system. You have two options. And if you fall outside of those options, you get a lot of persecution, a lot of comments from the two other sides, and it's really not right. But I've come to understand, gender and sexuality are very beautiful things that come in many varieties. I have several dating profiles out there, and it's always interesting to see how they identify, what they say they are. And I hate putting boxes or descriptions on everybody, but that's how we connect with each other. That's how we try to understand each other, is unfortunately by a title. And, titles are very limiting. For myself, I identify as trans woman, or just a female, a woman, and I am bisexual. Now, I have to discuss this a little bit because there's a lot of misinformation on bisexuality. I am not attracted to every male and female that is out there. I do have a certain type. I can't really describe the type, but I know it when I see it and am attracted to it. There's no, like, he has to be clean cut, 6 foot. I don't have any of that. It's just, I like more information in their profile. I like to see a personality behind that person. And it's wonderful to see that personality because I want more substance, if you will. So, with gender, there are many, many genders, and throughout the ages, there are many cultures that have more than just 2 genders. And this has only become a thing in the last century, the last 100 years, that, there's only 2 genders. You can only be male or female. And that really is limiting because, there's people born intersex, which means they kind of come with genitalia that is ambiguous, that they can't tell which one you are. And usually these people get assigned female, and they reconstruct their genitalia as they see it, and voila, you're fixed, you're cured. And again, this is very limiting to these people, and it really doesn't do them any justice or serve them well. So with gender, there's many genders that you can discuss, and it's mind-boggling how many. When I was looking up, all the different genders, it was like, wow, okay, there's a lot more than even I understand that I've learned from my journey so far. And sexuality, there's so many sexualities. There's bisexual, gay, queer, asexual. There's so many. It's crazy. Pansexual. I know if I leave any out, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to. But so before you go judging people, you need to understand that we're people. We're all unique. We all have our own brand of humanity. And not one of us is going to express it the same way or even be the same with it. I can come across another trans woman and she may dress totally differently. She might be gender non-binary or gender non-conforming, and so she will dress very differently than me. So, but it doesn't negate that they're great, wonderful people on the inside and on the outside. And that's why I love this journey I put myself on, is, discovering myself along with discovering other people so I can learn from them. Some I watch a ton of YouTube as well as some of you might, and I love a lot of the YouTubers. They have inspired me, and come out myself and to actually be myself. And it's great that people are out there discussing these things and making it real. So just before you judge or think of someone as weird, try to understand them. Ask them what they go by. Because not all of us go by he, him, her, she. Some go by they, them. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's great. Because, we're a great big family as humanity. So just try to understand people. See from their point of view. There's too many times that we judge people by the color of their skin or what they're wearing. I believe in a world that can get past that eventually. And we can see people for who they are, not what they're wearing or their color. So I will come at you next week. And if you like what I put out, please subscribe below in the little red box right there. And give this a thumbs up. Give it a like. Give me a comment. I would like to know what you guys want to watch, what you would like me to do next. And give me that feedback. Feedback's always wonderful, to kind of see what other people see that I don't. So, be your authentic self.